but they've been pretty consistent. That to me is the best part about the Eagles, that they've been pretty consistent. It hasn't been, you know, one blowout, one bad game. You know, they've been, other than Detroit, where they got tested a little bit.
Got your Mac and Mac guys, McMullen McDonald here on Birds 365. As I mentioned, BLG, Brandon Lee Gouton's going to join us coming up in about now, only 17 minutes from now. I can't believe we've done 300. Oh, by the way, today is show number 375. Nice round number for Birds 365 here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, which you should like, share, and subscribe to right now. We got over 300 viewers right now. You're streaming in. We love you. We appreciate you. How about you sharing the love and that like button for Mac and Mac? Don't think I've ever discussed this with you, which just surprises the heck out of me. Maybe I'm forgetting. You can tell me we have if I've forgotten, J-Mac. What's your thoughts on plus minus for football teams? Point differential.
I think it gets, I feel like I say this all the time. I think it gets more meaningful as you get deeper. If you give me 15, 16 games, I say, well, it's pretty meaningful. It's pretty indicative. Early in the season, you can play one good game and the Eagles have this right now, as a matter of fact, yardage differential is crazy. They're like plus 6 something and number 2's plus 300 something. Crazy. Still only 4 games though, so you have that. But they've been pretty consistent. That to me is the best part about the Eagles, that they've been pretty consistent. It hasn't been, one blowout, one bad game. They've been, other than Detroit, where they got tested a little bit, and even Nick Sirianni said we didn't really get tested there either. Which
they needed that 4-minute offense to kill that game, Johnny Mac. I don't know how you look
at
but
that's kind of I always say games have a feel. So when we were talking about the fourth quarter stuff, not scoring in the fourth quarter, I mentioned that. Like, my feel is like against Minnesota or Washington, if they needed to score, they would have just turned it on and scored. Now, you can't prove that, but in other words, you didn't feel they were in danger at all. There was no sense of urgency. That's why
week 1 against Detroit, when they tied it and cut it to 3 points, you had
there was a little bit. I didn't agree with Nick there. I'm telling you what Nick said. Okay. I thought there was. Okay. I thought there was, and I thought they did a tremendous job. I think probably he's looking at back in hindsight and said, you know what? Everybody in the building knew we were going to run the football. We ran the football and we ran out the clock. And from a coach's perspective, I think that's pretty good. But yeah, I thought they were challenged in Detroit. I don't think they've been challenged since, other than the early 14-0 lead with Jacksonville, and that's a little bit of adversity, but they came back and dominated that game. They've been really good. They've been the best team in football over the first 4 weeks. I don't care who I know our buddy Paul Domowitch keeps putting Buffalo on top. I think Buffalo's more talented, but remember, they have all the issues at safety now, so they're taking some hits. I think the Eagles have been the best team. Taking a snapshot today, and that's all it is, a snapshot. They have been the best team in the NFL for the first 4 weeks.
I agree. Buffalo did lose, and you can go back. And see, that's another one. You can make the numbers sing and dance any way you want, depending on how you play. A lot was made over the fact that Buffalo had 28, 29 more offensive plays than Miami did in the Dolphins win when the Dolphins beat them, and the Dolphin defense was out there for 80 some odd snaps, almost 90 snaps. Except they got the big stop when they needed it in the fourth quarter. And that's how you win and lose games. And the Dolphins did just that. I don't think they got enough credit for it. They're the 3 top teams: Buffalo, Miami, Philadelphia. You want to put them in an order? You want to go see, and the Dolphins are so hard to rank and rate now because you don't know about Tua. Oh, by the way, worst kept secret, Tua's not playing this week. That was announced yesterday.
Yeah, now they're going to have to keep him out, and they probably, look, that whole story bothers me. Like, it bothers me, and he's probably going to be out for a number of weeks because of the court of public opinion, not because of his health, but because of the court of public opinion.
We'll see about that. I'm guessing he's going to miss 1 week and then be back, but I'm just the court of public opinion of one. That would be me. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I wonder if Nick Sirianni would have been ticked off if someone went to him and said, "Oh, by the way, we've got to rule the quarterback out today on Monday."
Oh my God!
He lives for that competitive advantage. Yeah. I'm not going to give you information on my injured players. No, we're going to hold that as tight to the vest as we possibly can to the very last second, so we can get that perceived competitive advantage. Yeah, the Dolphins. I would not be surprised if they were directed. You will announce on Monday.
Oh, my God, yeah. They were told. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it bothers me so much. They're changing the rules on the fly because of one situation, because of a social media uproar. That's it. And it bothers me. It bothers me.
Well, if they're doing it to improve the health of the players, I'm good with it. I think there are ulterior motives, but if the ends justify the means, then I'm okay with it. And but I do think that if Tua is again cleared by many an individual, they're going to have more doctors looking to Tua Tagovailoa over the next week than he's ever had look at him before. But I think it may be just a one more week thing, but we got to wait and see. All right, back to the Eagles injuries. Darius Slay, you ready to give me a percentage on the chance he's going to play this week?
Yeah, this is just my pure speculation, but seeing Darius after the game, seeing him during the game, I'm going to say 95% he's going to play.
All right, how about Isaac Seumalo?
I'm under 50, and Isaac's one I don't know anything about other than he was injured late in the game and it looks serious on the field, or somewhat serious. Now, I hope Nick is telling the truth, because if he's not, I'm going to be angry. But the fact that he said everybody has a chance to play on Sunday, well, that part's false. But
yeah, he can't be wrong. He
secondly,
said, yay. He left it open-ended.
Yeah.
If two play and two don't, he's right. If all four play and none of them, he's right. If none of them play, then he's right.
But here's what I'm saying,
they
Jody.
all may play. He didn't commit to anything.
If there's a season-ending injury, I don't think he would have phrased it that way.
Okay.
Now, if there is, yeah, that's gonna
better question than season ending, an IR injury, because that's 4 weeks.
Yeah, even that. I mean, to me, that phrasing indicates week to week, not month to month.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So if it's anything more than that, so Avant Maddox, Ian Rappaport had a couple. He said Slay's pretty much fine, I think, and Maddox might miss another game, but that's it for him. And he didn't play against Jacksonville, but so he was already out. But Jordan Mailata, that's the one to keep an eye on. Isaac Seumalo and Jake Elliott. And I think the Eagles might have to sign a kicker.
So you think Maddox is going to be out again?
I think there's a chance he's out again. Probably 50-50. Probably legit question.
So they could be understaffed. They signed an offensive lineman yesterday to practice squad, but that's just the practice squad. We know who's going to play this week. But if either one of those guys go to the IR, either Seumalo or Mailata, who do you think they move up? How do you think they reconfigure the line? We know Driscoll's in for Mailata because he did as good a job as he did. We know Opetta's in for Isaac because he did a good job himself. But somebody's got to be filling in the roles that they're coming off the bench. Who do you think the Eagles are elevating?
The problem is they got, the guys they would elevate, they lost. Coyote Awasika to Detroit.
Right.
Raven Clark to Tennessee. They just signed Tyree Stevenson, as you mentioned. And last week they signed, I forget the kid's name, an offensive tackle to replace LaRaven Clark. But yeah, I don't know if either of those guys would be ready. So they have some issues. If both those guys can't play, Andre Diller's not ready. He's getting closer. He doesn't
Yeah, I
have
thought
any.
Dylan was going to be back. Didn't you hint at that last week that the 4 weeks are up? He should be good to go.
No, I didn't hint that.
Okay.
As a
All
matter
right.
of fact,
I thought I remembered you saying that. If you didn't, I trust you.
when the Eagles said 4 to 6, the Eagles said 4 to 6. Not well. I shouldn't say they said, they leaked it. That seemed really optimistic to me, and I would think 6. Now, I did see him last week on the practice field. He doesn't have anything on his forearm anymore, so he is getting closer. Um, and generally, that surgery is just to stabilize the arm, so it's not terribly serious. But I would lean more towards 6 than 4. And so we'll still have a couple more weeks with him. We'll see. Maybe, that's how things happen. Nobody cares. People only care about head injuries. So, they need them. You might push them a little bit quicker than typically you would in other circumstances. But these new guys, yeah, I mean, they're not, even with Jeff Stoutland, you're not, Cam Jurgens obviously would be the one to handle all the interior positions. We've talked about him. Would you move him to guard? Well, they might have to move him to guard.
Right. But except they could have done that this week and they put Opet in instead.
Yeah. And I mean, after Sua, they clearly, they don't want to move him to guard if they don't have to. But at some point, you might have to, is what I'm saying.
All right. Then here's my question for you. And again, I'm going way the heck out there on a limb because any questioning of Jeff Stoutland is like sacrilegious here in this town.
Should be, by the way.
Well, then let me put forth my question, defending it before I even get it out, McMullen. Josh Sills. I don't think John McMullen had him on his 53-man roster.
Navy Sills. Yeah, Josh Navy Sills. Great nickname by Jordan.
Okay,
Mailata,
good nickname, but a surprise to make this roster. And, oh, by the way, a couple of guys that he made it over have since been pinched from the Eagle organization by other teams. Is he ready to play? Are they going to put him in? It doesn't say much if they're going to move Jurgens from guard, from center out to guard. Why is Josh Sills on this roster?
I think Sills would be the next tackle up. So if Jordan, remember, we're saying if Jordan can't play, and Driscoll's playing left tackle, and then Driscoll or Lane get injured, which hopefully, then it would be Sills outside. And I think, if Isaac can't play and it's Sua and Landon in the middle, then Cam Jurgens is the next interior. So the top interior backup would be Cam Jurgens. The top outside backup would be Josh Sills, and that's where you are. And by the way, when you're that deep on the depth chart, that's a lot better than most teams. But you also don't want to see it. You got to be honest with yourself. You don't want to see that kind of stuff. But that's where you are. You
have to hope that Eagles get some good news. To their credit, both Driscoll and Opeta, they stepped in. Driscoll for much more action because Mailata got hurt much earlier.
First time ever he's played left tackle, by the way. So,
looked like he knew what he was doing to me. It didn't look like a terrible drop off at all. So give him credit for that. They're going to need their guys for at the very least depth purposes, because I do think there are some question marks if both of those guys are out of the lineup this week. All right, Johnny Mac, the Mac and Mac guys on Birds 365 coming back. We'll be joined by the big man, Brandon Lee Gouton from Bleeding Green Nation. He's up next here on Birds 365.